I'm afraid that there's nothing really I can do. I'm really facing a crisis. My hands are tied.
But what about my film?
Well, I'm afraid you'll have to come up with something on your own. Take it from me. Sometimes you just have to let things go. Same goes for this film festival.
Oh.
Hey, isn't that Xavier? So he's back in Fontaine now. Xavier!
Oh, why, if it isn't the dear Traveler and Paimon. I really didn't expect to bump into you here at this time. Well, I was doing just fine until I received some terrible news just now. The investor I was working with for my upcoming film has fallen upon some hard times and is no longer able to provide the promised amount of funds.
Can't you just find a different investor?
Unfortunately, that's not how it works. We had signed an agreement specific to the Fontinalia Film Festival, stipulating that I cannot work with any other investors until the festival is finished.
The Fontinalia Film Festival? What's that?
Oh, is this your first time participating in Fontaine's Fontinalia Film Festival? Then allow me to fill you in. The Fontinalia Festival was established to commemorate the legendary Loch Knights, who went on a quest to search for the Oceanids, and eventually welcomed the Hydro Archonigeria. The holiday is deeply connected to the founding of Fontaine, as well as its unique laws and trials. It's one of the most important festivals for this nation.
But what's with that weird expression on your face? It's like you're trying really hard to remember something.
I was just trying to recall the exact description from the books, in order to avoid any unnecessary arguments over semantics. I usually try to recite things straight from the source.
Well, either way, Paimon thinks she gets it now. It's just like the Windbloom Festival in Mondstadt, and the Lantern Rite in Lille.
Yes, those are festivals of a similar variety. Who doesn't like a good festival? And just like those of other nations, Fontaine will hold a plethora of events around this time each year. To commemorate the Loch Knights, people will imitate them by putting on special costumes, raising golden cups, and going door to door asking for peace.
That really doesn't surprise Paimon at all.
The whole thing seems more akin to a carnival now, and it's quite popular among the kids. Every year you can hear a bunch of them saying, "Trial or treat."
Oh, that sounds pretty fun. But how does that connect back to the film festival you mentioned?
Yes, it appears I've strayed off topic. I just got too excited after seeing you. Let me get back to the point. The Fontinalia Film Festival is an event proposed by the Fontaine Film Association this year. Now that film technology has matured as a medium, it's the perfect time to introduce more people to the art form. During this time, people may submit films to be evaluated, and the entry with the highest score will be given the Farina Award by the association.
The what award?
The Farina Award. You know, after the Hydro Archon. They coined it while Lady Farina was still in power, but even though things have changed, no one has made any motion to update the name. Perhaps everyone still thinks of it as a pretty appropriate name. Even though she isn't the Hydro Archon any longer, Lady Farina is still Fontaine's superstar. Anyone with eyes can see the way she shines on the stage.
Guess the name does work pretty well when you put it that way.
Oh, but who would have guessed there'd be an issue with the funding? How will I ever explain this to Miss Chiori? Not to say all the other actors who traveled all the way here from Inazuma.
Chiori? Sounds familiar. Where have we heard that name before?
Yes, that's her. I asked her to oversee the event's art direction, including the design of the actors' costumes and appearances.
Oh, Paimon remembers now. Navia said that her clothes were designed by Chiori, and Kirara's outfit too.
How to describe her? Well, she tends to be pretty direct and can be very forceful when it comes to dealing with people. The fashion world in Fontaine has dubbed her the Thundering Seamstress. Her remarkable designs have led many Fontainians to become very interested in Inazuma. Anyway, Chiori is acquainted with all the actors I've invited from Inazuma. Without her help, I don't think I would have been able to get such an international cast for the film. She really is a kind soul.
Who are the actors from Inazuma? Do we know them?
There as well.
Which is more valuable, unlimited mora or unlimited time?
Miss Chiori?
Your talk with the investor sure went fast. The Aquabus hasn't even arrived yet. Oh? And who are they?
Allow me to introduce you. This is the Traveler and Paimon.
Pleased to meet you.
Likewise! We've heard the owner of Chioriya Boutique is a skilled seamstress, so it's a real pleasure to finally meet you in person.
Why, thank you. I strove to create an outfit that matched her high social station as the demoiselle. So tell me, what happened? I can tell the conversation didn't go quite as expected.
Well, it's like this. Say it. You did remind me that this investor was a little bit sketchy.
Yes, there's no doubt about that.
But how could I pass it up? He offered me twice as much as the others.
And therein lies the problem.
Yes, but just put yourself in my shoes. After obtaining such an excellent script, it's only natural that I would want to make the most of the film. The budgets that the others had proposed were nowhere near enough. It's difficult to find someone willing to front such a large amount of mora, so...
Don't be sad, Xavier. We might be able to help scrounge up some more together for you.
Oh, thank you, Paimon. That means a lot to me. But the cost of the film is staggering. I'm afraid that any mora we can scrounge together in a short amount of time won't even be able to cover the actors' fees.
We need to move on. What's happened has already happened, and there's no changing it. But now's not the time to give up.
What? You're saying that you have a plan?
No, that's not what I mean. I'm simply saying I wouldn't give up just yet. The actors I recommended aren't just after Mora after all.
Really? Then where do you live?
We Melusines live in Mercy Village. The only way to enter is from underwater.
Oh, you must be pretty tired after work every day, right? I mean, you have to swim all that way just to go home.
We are so thoughtful. But some Melusines choose to live in the court of Fontaine because it's so much more convenient.
This is our stop.
Oh, we've arrived. But I haven't even finished chatting with Aval yet.
I also enjoyed Aval's introductions to Fontaine along the way. Everything you described was so clear and detailed that we can't help but want to hear more.
Thank you so much. I'm usually working here on the Sakura bus, so I hope I'll have the chance to see you again. There are still many more places I'd like to introduce to you.
Welcome to the court of Fontaine. Chiori, you sure have changed a lot. This is the first time we've seen you since you left Inazuma. I haven't realized it's been so long. I was in such a rush when I...
Honor to have the head of the Kamisato clan visit us.
So they're who you meant when you said you had actors coming from Inazuma?
Oh? It's the Traveler and Paimon.
Wow, what a coincidence! Ayaka and I were just talking about you on the way here. Are you also here for the film?
We just ran into Xavier earlier and came over with him.
But I'm not an actress. Sir Kamisato and Lady Ayaka are the real actors here. I'm just tagging along with Ayaka to have a good time together.
About that, I mean, how was I supposed to contact you when I was making preparations for the film? I figured you were probably busy, and I didn't want to disturb you. So I could only keep you in the back of my mind while I sought other actors to play the lead roles in the film.
I had been thinking about a surprise reunion with you during our trip here, but you still managed to surprise me first.
Oh, so you all know each other already! My, what a coincidence! What are the chances everyone could be brought together here like this? Why don't we go to Hotel de Boer and catch up over a meal? I've already made a reservation.
Huh? Did you reserve 2 spots for us too?
Yes, of course, of course. I'll be sure to tell the boss to serve a few more delicious dishes just to make sure there'll be enough food.
Very well. Then please, kindly lead the way, Mr. Xavier.
Wow, the buildings in Fontaine are so tall. Just look at how big they are.
And there's the fountain that Aval mentioned earlier. It really is a magnificent sight.
And look at that huge spinning sphere. Where does it get its power? Wait a sec! Could it be one of those clockwork mecha we've heard so much about?
Investing too much emotion puts you at risk of doing something irrational.
So this is what food from Fontaine is like. It sure is different from what we have in Inazuma. How should I describe it? It seems like you have to go through a lot more steps to make them. And the flavor has many layers too.
Yes. When I first went to Inazuma, I actually thought the food there tasted a little too bland. It took some time for me to get used to it.
Let's get back to the purpose of this trip for a moment, shall we? How have preparations for the film been coming along, Mr. Xavier?
Well, I've already assembled most of the film crew, a lighting specialist, a prop manager, and a costume designer. I've also bought the copyrights from the novel's author.
Oh, it's called The Two Musketeers, right? I read the script you sent me on the way here. The story is pretty good.
Originally, I was planning to start filming as soon as Sir Kamisato and Lady Ayaka arrived in Fontaine, but I'm afraid I've run into a bit of a problem.
Oh? What is it?
It has to do with the film's investor, Mr. Morris. He suddenly informed me this morning that he's encountered some financial trouble and will be unable to release to me the amount of funding agreed upon.
It's said that Fontaine's legal system is well developed. If he has violated the contract, then can't you simply take him to court over the matter?
Well, I'm still more concerned about filming. Even if I were to take him to court, I'm afraid it would take months before the case could even be heard.
Then, is there a way we could raise funds ourselves to solve the problem?
I've considered that option too, but unfortunately, it's difficult to gather such a large amount of mora on such short notice. Besides, we have to consider the film festival's submission deadline.
Mr. Xavier, if Ayaka and I were willing to perform for free, would that resolve the problem you are currently facing?
What? No, out of the question. To have you come all this way just to act for free? Oh, no, that won't do.
There's no need to worry, Mr. Xavier. My brother and I had actually intended to work for free after receiving your invitation. Inazuma has only recently reopened its borders, and needs to strengthen its relations and cultural ties with other nations. We didn't have many collaboration projects with Fontaine in the past, so we hoped this trip would serve as a good start for the future.
Indeed. You could say that's the real reason why the Yashiro Commission agreed to come to Fontaine. Express our sincerity if we want to establish formal cultural ties with your nation. This film will serve as proof of friendly cooperation and cultural exchange between Inazuma and Fontaine. It's my hope that the film can be finished and released as smoothly as possible. If you still don't feel comfortable with this arrangement, I would also be more than happy to be introduced to some other renowned individuals in Fontaine's literary and artistic circles.
All right, I'll do as you say. Thank you so much. I'll make sure to cobble together enough mora now, even if it means selling my house, my camera, and every single family heirloom.
Come on now, no need to go that far. I'll also help you out as a brand sponsor.
Me too. Even though I didn't bring much more to spend on this trip, it's still better than nothing.
You are too kind, all of you. I really don't know how to...
Ew. All right, enough about that. Now that we have Xavier's savings, my support, and 2 leads who are willing to act for free, I think we will be able to make this happen. So, instead of Mora, you'll help with filming and production.
Oh, but how can we help with that? We don't know much about making a film.
All right, pull yourself together, Xavier. Tell us if there are still any open positions left among the crew.
All right. Let me think. We still need a camera operator, a clapper loader, and someone to manage logistics. I originally wanted to personally serve as director, but I've been too busy working as the producer. So the positions of director and director's assistant will also need to be filled.
Paimon knows what the director and the logistics support person do, but what's a clapper loader?
The clapper loader is responsible for using the clapperboard to record and organize the information of each shot when the camera operator begins shooting. The work requires both patience and careful attention to detail.
A clapperboard? Oh, you mean the thing they hold that goes clap whenever they start filming?
Yes, that's right. Are you interested in that job?
For sure! Paimon's always wanted to try that!
All right, then you'll be our clapper loader. I can find someone from the store to help with logistics. What do you think, Xavier?
Oh, fine by me. As for...
Photos of during our journey.
Yes, that's also what I was thinking. I noticed the Traveler had an eye for photography and composition when we worked together previously.
I'm sure that's due to the traveler's journey across Devat and all the places they've seen. After so many adventures, using a camera must be second nature by now.
What do you say, Traveler? Are you interested in the job? Thank you. It really means a lot to me. Come on, friend. Let me give you a big warm hug.
So all that's left for us to find is a director and an assistant.
Oh, me! I want to be the director's assistant. All we need to do is help the director, right? I can handle that.
All right, then all we need is a director. Oh, all the well-known directors in Fontaine are probably also busy working on their own films these days. I'm not sure who will have time to help.
Oh, Farina helped out a theater troupe recently by serving as an artistic consultant. She could be a good director, right? Besides, it's not like she has anything else to do right now.
Farina? Do you really think Lady Farina would be willing to help us with our humble project?
Isn't that the name of Fontaine's Hydro Archon? My brother has already informed me about what happened here in Fontaine.
Yep, that's her. She helped out a theater troupe not too long ago, and now she's taking up work as a director.
Well,
I saw that musical. Her performance was perfect, and the storyboards were also excellent. Don't let her form or identity intimidate you. She's the best candidate we can think of right now. You'll never know until you give her a shot.
Fine. You're right, Shiori. I'll do anything for the sake of my film. Anything! Then I'll have to ask the Traveler and Paimon to show me the way to Lady Farina's residence. I just hope she'll agree to help.
Do you need us to also come along?
No, there's no need to trouble you with this. Besides, you've just arrived in Fontaine, and I'm sure there are many places you would like to visit. Just leave this task to me. It's part of my duties as the producer.
Very well. Then we'll be waiting to hear the good news.
I'll go with you. By the way, you might want to consider bringing a gift.
And don't worry, we won't simply drop you off at Farina's place. We know Farina pretty well by now, so having some familiar faces there should help your chances. Besides, the whole thing was our idea in the first place.
All right, then I'll start making preparations. As for the gift, now once fancied a clockwork ring, so perhaps I should get another exquisite clockwork contraption for her.
Huh? Can't we just bring some desserts, like the Fontinalia mousse?
But wouldn't that be a little too cheap? She does like desserts, though.
Isn't the Fontinalia festival happening right now? I heard Abel tell us on the Aquabus that Farina introduced the tradition of going door to door and asking for sweets. To do something like that, she must have a real sweet tooth.
I agree with Yoimiya. If the gift is too fancy, it might actually make her feel more uncomfortable.
Alright then, let's go buy some Fontinalia mousse.
But will that really be enough? We'll be asking her to do a lot of work, you know.
You're right. We need to further sweeten the deal.
Huh? You want something even sweeter than Fontinalia mousse?
Yes, we'll need a gift that's sweeter than any dessert in the world.
But what could that be?
Your words of praise.